sticks and all of that. You got your beer?
I do. Yeah, man. The nerd in me loves all that stuff. So I'm beyond happy to talk about it.
Sweet. All right, guys. It is After Hours Real Estate. It's 5 o'clock on Monday, and everybody is heading home, going to grab their beer or their wine or their whiskey. And Stephen and I are going to talk a little bit about real estate, a little bit about mortgage lending, probably more about mortgage lending considering what's going on in the market right now than real estate. But I'm Chris Beshek, Dripping Springs home team at Jackson Properties, real estate agent. I focus out in Dripping Springs, Texas, but really, when you're a real estate agent, you work the market that and I've been working the Central Texas market all around Austin for the last 9 years. So I know it very well, not just Dripping Springs, but, kind of the whole area. And Steve has been doing lending for how long now, man? How old are you? You're bald.
Yeah, I do look pretty old with the hair like this, don't I? I'm 37. So
yeah, Steve's younger than I am by almost 10 years.
But I don't look it. I look older than you by 10 years, I'm sure. But yeah, you're looking great. I hate your hair, by the way. I can't say I've been licensed since 2012. I would say I've been a professional lender, knowing what I'm talking about for probably the last 3 years.
I understand that. I get that. I get that very much.
It's tough. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of ins and outs, and
it's constantly.
What we're going to talk about today, I know plenty of lenders that have no idea how to read any of it. They just log in. Here's your rate today.
Here's your rate. Hey, what's the rate? What's the rate today, Steve?
What's your rate?
All right.
You're going to do that forever, aren't you?
If you're watching, and let me see. Here we go. So evidently everybody can see me. The one that I had earlier today, people couldn't really hear me, so I had to get the microphone closer. But Michael's saying, "Show me the beer."
We can't do any questions yet. We got to do the beers.
Show me the beer. What do you?
I'll start this time.
Please tell me that's not a Michelada. Oh, no. Dude, that is one of my favorite IPAs of all time.
Really?
I'm such a huge Dale's fan.
It's fantastic. I'm not sure that I've ever actually had it. Maybe once, but it's just great.
Oh man, do you know the local version of it? I shouldn't say the local version. The one that's brewed locally that to me tastes most like it.
Is this the local? This one says
no. Dale's is out of Colorado. Actually, that one may be in Austin now.
Oh, that's weird. It says both Longmont, Colorado, and Austin, Texas.
Yeah, so they opened an Austin brewery, I don't know, 4 years ago, but their original one's in Longmont, Colorado, which is on the diagonal highway between Fort Collins and Boulder. I know way too much about Dale's Pale Ale, brother. And actually,
they don't like it very much.
They started in Lyons, which is between Boulder and Estes Park. They had a little bitty rinky-dink operation there, and then they moved to Longmont. But locally, Fire Eagle from Austin Beer Works tastes a lot like it. And that's what when you have your happy hours, your realtor happy hours, that's what I always drink at where do we have those?
It has been
I know, but where was it?
I've had those, and I stopped them a few months before the coronavirus. But we used to have them at Doc's Backyard.
Yeah.
And then the one I did up north was the Brick House Tavern.
Nice. But yeah, Doc's carried Fire Eagle, and Fire Eagle's a damn good IPA.
What are you drinking? What's your beer?
We're gonna see what kind of beer nerds we got on here, because this thing is from
K-U-R-N-D.
Goliath Brewing. Okay. This is the Pseudo-Sue IPA. I didn't realize that this is actually pretty hard to get, and I traveled this one back from Colorado with me. Toppling Goliath is in Iowa somewhere. Decorah, Iowa. This beer is brewed in Iowa, and it's phenomenal. Go figure.
Interesting.
Who the heck knew that Iowa had good beer?
I'm just getting pale ales and drinking from the can, and you're getting all these nice specialty beers and pouring them into a cup or a glass.
Well, I got to show people what it looks like. But no, this is the same type of beer as Dale's. It's just a good pale ale.
All right.
You see, there's got a lot of good floaters in it, and that's always good.
I was gonna say, it looks like there's a bunch of crap in your beer.
Yeah, it's good floaters. It's like dead yeast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So here we go, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Let's do it. So we had a major scare today in the real estate market. You remember our topic last week?
No. Time out.
Yes.
Michael, you and I are going to fight for the first time. What is this? Say no to IPA. Come on. I'm sure. I think Michael really likes Belgians and dark beers. I think, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yeah. So we did have a scare, but hold that thought, because I told Michael that I would answer his question first.
Sure. Of course. Go ahead.
So before we got on live, Michael commented and wanted to know about the difference in tax rates in Dripping Springs, because I talk about it quite a bit, and tax rates can hugely affect your monthly mortgage payment. Michael, what you're basically looking at is if it's just a county rate, and that would be something like out in Henley, up close to 12 Fox, kind of out in the sticks. County rate, I believe right now is 1.86 or 1.92. I can't remember. It fluctuated a little bit. And in the city rate or ETJ, 2.16. City of Drip, I want to say, is 2.26. And then you've got the master plan communities are all up around 3, anywhere from like 286, which I think is what Belterra is, up to 296. Headwaters, Calaterra, I think, is right at 3. So really your spread there is 186 to basically 3, because at that point you're splitting hairs. So realistically, 1 percentage point, and obviously a $500,000 valued home, 1 percentage point is $5,000 a year. You're looking over $400 a month difference between different houses out here, depending on the tax rate. So $500 a month. And then if you add in $100 HOA, you can literally spend $600 a month more living in a master plan community in Dripping Springs than you can out in the county. So that there you go. Those numbers, I may be off by a 100% on those or 2, but those are pretty close. I know.
Dude, I've got a guy right now buying a condominium with a $450 HOA payment in Lago, which is a 3.2% tax rate.
Oh my God.
I saw the numbers myself. I'm like, that's really high. Did I screw something up? I'm going in there re-looking. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's getting the worst of both.
What's the HOA?
Well, it comes with a boat dock and it's got one of these huge boat docks through the whole thing, right? Boat docks is you've got one little parking space for your boat and then one for your jet ski. So I mean, it's not completely without. I mean, you'd pay just about that to get a boat, stored someplace, maybe. So
okay, 425 and a 3.2.
450. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm not a fan, right? But whatever. Hey, to each his own. It's what he wants, and that's
honestly, that's right.
Actually, it's got a great view. It's on the lake, so why not?
Yeah, Michael, you actually should go buy land right next to 12 Fox. Then you could just stumble home. I'm personally, I mean, it's all good. Oh, and by the way, that land's not zoned anything out there, so you could just buy a pasture and put a house up. It's just got to pass county. Yeah, I'm within a mile and a quarter of 3 breweries, a distillery, and soon to be 2 wineries. We literally walk to last Thursday we walked to Beerberg. It's not, and I live out in the middle of nowhere. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
God bless the Fitzhugh district.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that where I am. That's really cool.
Sorry. Oh, I've got a client who's going to be building a house out in Lago, and they're planning on opening a restaurant. He's been a general manager of high-end restaurants out on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And he said that they want to open a legit restaurant out in Lago. So there you go.
Good. Tell him he can't start soon enough.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I have this client right now, a new build. You mentioned new build. It's reminding me of this. Typically, you go to a new build and the builders give you incentives, right? Yes. And to use their preferred lender and nobody else, not Steve, anybody else.
That's right. Anybody
or nobody else. No, I said that wrong. But the bottom line is,
hey, Harold, what's up?
They always go, what's up? They always give these huge incentives. And today I was told, okay, hey, they're going to give $5,000 towards closing, and they're going to pay for title. But the person was in one of my down payment assistance programs getting $15,000 of down payment. So
you got him. You got him.
Oh, dude, it was the first time in a while that, if you're not using one of those programs, it's tough for me to compete with that. And when I can compete with that, I'm making like $200 on the deal. It takes me 30 days to do. It's just usually not worth, really going out of my way that much. Let them take it, kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty fun today. That was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey Harold, we're hanging out talking. I'm a real estate agent. Steve's a mortgage broker. Well, for lack of better terms, because I always forget what your actual title is.
You know what? It changes every few years, anyways. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. And man, we're just hanging out, drinking beer, and talking a little bit about. Actually, now we're going to get started talking a little bit about mortgages. So, man, what were you were just talking?
If you have any questions, if you have any questions,
you've got questions, ask them. Yeah, we'll answer questions.
So today,
I don't know where you are, man. We're around Austin, so especially if you got questions about Austin or Texas in general.
And last week we were talking about not about politics, but about politics. So we were trying not to go into politics, but we were saying that as a consequence of the election, and this was before the results, right, or lack thereof, rather.
Lack of results at this point.
We both agreed that whoever was going to become president there was going to be turbulence in the market, right? Every time there's turbulence in the market, right?
Yeah, everybody says it. It's election year. Okay.
Right. Half the population over here thinks one thing's going to happen. Half the other population over here thinks another thing's going to happen. And then, when the dust settles, everybody moves, all their stuff around. So there's always stuff, meaning money, right? But there's always turbulence. But today, there was more than expected turbulence. And God, I can't tell you how frustrating it is, all these journalists out there that write an article like they know what they're talking about, and when they're just completely wrong. And so today, I have at one point today we had lost 72 basis points in the market.
Wait. Bring that back. Okay,
I'll explain it. Let me move on real fast though. But a movement in the market that would be like, ooh, that's rough. Maybe we've just your rates have become much more expensive kind of thing. It would be like maybe 15, 20 basis points, but to move 70 something, 72, that's a hit, like a big hit, right? To put that into perspective, on a $100,000 home, a 2.99% rate on Friday would have cost about $0. And today it's going to cost about $722 more for that same rate in closing costs. So if you lock
$1 per basis point basically to buy that rate.
Yeah. So when the basis points move, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but it doesn't mean the rates move by that much. It means the cost of the rates move that much. So it's a kind of a big misconception. You can get almost any rate you want, right? Yeah. You just have to pay money to get a good rate or a lower rate. Or a higher rate. And eventually, if you take a high enough rate, you'll get paid money, right? So it's kind of the way that all works. But the market today was reacting to the coronavirus news that there is a vaccine in the works, possibly through, I think it was Pfizer, right?
Yeah.
And what they're saying is if the Pfizer vaccine is half as effective as they're claiming, it would still make a major impact in the economy. So,
and that's what I heard, that they were really targeting around 50 or 60% effectiveness, and this thing's coming out at 90 right now.
Yeah. So
a big deal.
Again, even if it's half, it's still way better than we have right now anyways, right? So bottom line is that when the economy is bad, lenders are the only people happy. The stock market tanked. Oh my God. The lenders are like, yes, you know what I mean? Because that means rates are gonna go down, right?
Right.
What makes it even more confusing though is that when rates go down, mortgage-backed securities go up in price. So the higher the price on mortgage-backed securities, the lower the rate, right? And so, I'll share my screen with you and show that thing I was showing earlier here.
Don't nerd out too much and lose people, because we're running at a high rate today, man. We got some viewers today.
Sure, no problem. So this is Chinese candlesticks. For those of you that don't know what that means, basically the top and the bottom represent the range of how long how high or how low the price was that day. And that's really all you need to know. If you want to learn more, we could take a whole class on it, right? But basically, this is where rates were, okay? And again, the higher is better, okay? So we peaked on rates on the 3rd of September, okay? Let's go to the 9th, because today is the 9th. Okay, so here's the 9th of September, and the high was 105.28. Okay, fast forward 2 months to the 9th today, and the high was 104.56 and the low was 104.12. That's huge. That's more than 1% in points in the cost of a rate that's affected people here within the last well, I guess 2 months, right? And it's been a little higher than that, but you give me 2.5 months, and all of a sudden, you've gone what, 150 basis points? And that's what happens when coronavirus hit.
And again, what that basically means is in order to get that same 2.99% interest rate, 150 basis points, that $100,000 house is going to cost you $1,500.
Dude, it's even worse. I had a client on Friday refinance. She qualified for a 2.990. Monday, we locked her in at a 3.375.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Let's be honest, 3.375 is phenomenal.
Well, right? It is, but again, 3/8 of a point over the weekend is freaking ridiculous. But yeah, I got you. Hey, Michael's asking, are you predicting interest rates to jump with the election, or any guesses how much? But I'm going to take that one step further. Not only answer it with the election, but talk about again that inverse relationship that you had been talking about the last couple of times.
Right, with the inflation. So that's what Mr. Smith. That's a really, really good question. Let's be honest up front here. If I knew the answer to that question, like wholeheartedly, I'd be on E-Trade all day long. I wouldn't be sitting here with Chris. I'd just be day trading, making millions, right? But
you'll buy me beer and drink with me.
Well, touche. I could probably figure that out. But long story short is yeah, definitely, especially with the outcome that we just had. We had one president that was promising to keep the taxes low, and then now we have a new president. Well, pretty soon we'll have a new president who has promised higher taxes and has promised to roll back a lot of the stuff that. So it's again, I don't want to get into politics, but from what I know has been said, and a lot of times politicians don't do what they say, right? So again, if I had that crystal ball, we wouldn't be talking like this.
And then you also have to go into the other aspect of it, where you may or may not have a Senate that's a Democrat or Republican Senate. We don't know yet either, so that could also pay into it.
You know what I do like about the results of this election is that the Senate and the House, maybe not the House, but they'll be forced to forced to compromise. It's been a while since there's been any compromise out there. So you know what I mean? It seems like whatever team you're on, screw the other team. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of so sick of that. It would be really nice to get some work done.
Yeah, people that actually do their jobs. Imagine that crap.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a crazy concept in politics, but whatever. Yeah. And the only thing that really upsets me about Trump losing, I hate to say this because I don't want anybody hating me after this, but was that he wanted to get rid of term limits. I've always hated term limits.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, how successful could he have been, right? Hey, senators, everyone, can you please vote yourself out of office, please? That's not going to be a problem, right? It's going to be good.
Hey, there's a couple that are actually trying to push term limits, but again, they're trying to push a car up a mountain. I mean,
I just can't see that ever happening.
We need it, in my personal opinion.
I could never disagree. That's like I said, the only thing that really kind of I mean, I don't want to say the only thing, but I am very independent, so I just make everybody angry when I talk about politics. Let's put it that way.
So, man, let me ask you this. Okay, so you just said that basically you're kind of anticipating potential rate jump here.
They have to go up.
Okay, but now, what was I reading?
Yeah, they should go down, I think, for the next 6 months or so, but with the inflation the way it is, I don't see how rates stay as low as
that's what you're stringing it along. Because I was reading an article again, and I thought I'd seen something earlier this year that said basically the Fed says they're not going to artificially inflate rates for at least a couple of years.
Oh, that was just last week. They just came out and said that so that's exactly right. Nope.
But what you're saying is that market forces are going to have an impact on it. It does. It doesn't matter what the Fed does.
You guys have like 7 more degrees than I do, right? So I don't want to assume that I know more than they do, but I don't. I'm just going to go with basic math here. Okay, I don't know how you have your inflation rate up here, but then you're letting people borrow money down here, and then you're supposed to stay in business. How? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And every time in history, I showed you the graph in one of our last, one of our last things. Let's do it. I'm down. Every time in history that there's been a higher inflation than the going rate, it snaps them. It just rubber bands back, and so rates should go up and inflation should go down. But the Fed has been promising to buy down these bonds, and also has been promising they want to keep trying to get interest rates to go up. Not interest rate, inflation. They want inflation to go up and rates to stay low. And it's like, okay, how do you do that without crashing the dollar, right?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. It's such a, and again, if they've got 7 more degrees than you, they've got 8 more than me. But I mean, right? we're in such a strong position in terms of the dollar globally. Man,
the argument against it that I've heard is what's going to replace it.
Right? Well, I don't know, but the yuan went up a heck of a lot over the last week.
You know what I can't stand about that is like, we're only first because we're really the worst. I don't like that attitude. Like, let's at least try. Being the least smelly kid in school is still not an accomplishment. Right. You know what I mean?
That's right. Take a shower. Take a shower.
Do it with one arm. Yeah. I don't know. It's just stupid, but yeah. So that's happened. We had a huge here. Let me show you a few things here. I'm going to share the screen real fast one more time.
Guys that are watching, again, if y'all have got questions, it doesn't even have to be related to this. If you've got a random question about real estate or mortgage or beer, pop it in the comments because we can easily talk about anything. There's no set anything with this. So if you got questions, ask.
Seeing that?
Yeah, I've got it up on the screen.
That is negative
basis
points, and that's Ginnie Mae. Most people don't even know that there is such a thing as Ginnie Mae.
That's the third one.
Then there's Fannie Mae. And if I go to Fannie Mae's, they didn't have quite as much of a hit, but they certainly had a hit. So that's consider there being a point right here. So 0.31 in the percentage of the loan amount in rate. So, if your rate was at, I'm going to stop sharing. If your rate was at, like I said, 3% before, you're probably looking at like a 3.25 right now, maybe 3.375. If you were looking at a 2.75 last week, you're probably looking at a 3.125 right now. Now that being said,
again, historically,
I qualified for the best rates in January of this year when I closed on my home, and I got a 4%. And you darn well know I got the best I could as a lender, right? So it's like, I mean, hey, rates have gotten worse, but they're still fantastic.
They're even better than January of this year.
To use the word worse and is just disingenuous. They have worse ends, but let's use a different word. The all-time high is softened a little, I think is really what we should say.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't have anything else to talk about, so.
All right. See you next week.
Later. Peace.
Oh, man. It's like my birthday tomorrow. That should be fun.
Dude, so are you going to be 37 or are you going to be 38?
38.
Hey, just wait till you hit 40. You'll start, like, your knees will start hurting. And
I'll grow into the hair eventually. Yeah. You start hurting. I played hockey, brother. My knees have been hurting me for
I forgot. You're a damn Yankee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Drinking all your water. Cold sports. Yep, I do. Well, I mean, what else are you supposed to do when you're up there? You're just freezing. You got to run around somehow. You know what I mean?
I hear bowling is big.
Yeah, because it's indoors. It sounds wonderful.
It sounds better than hockey.
Actually, hockey was one of the best sports I've ever played.
I was about to say, I think I could get down with some hockey.
Oh, my God. There's something about skating as fast as you can towards somebody with the puck, and you can't get it. You get frustrated, and you're like, screw it. You just slam into the person, and they drop the puck, and that's legal. And I'm telling you, it's awesome. I love that game.
Yeah, football's kind of gotten a little bit soft, man.
You know what? You know why I don't like football that much? I don't mind football. Let me rephrase that. The reason I like hockey more than football is that football keeps stopping. I can't stand the stops in between football. Right?
Spoken like a hockey player.
Die and then stop for 15 seconds. Okay, die and then try it again. Right? With hockey, it's like just constant stuff.
Let me guess. You're a soccer fan too.
No, I can't stand that stuff.
Well, it's the same. It's hockey on grass. Come on, dude.
Crying when they lose the game.
Good point. That's fair.
Man, I'm telling you right now, I'm not a big fan of that. My kid wants to play or something. It's a great sport. I'm just not a fan. It's not
okay. There you go. I was gonna say it's hockey on grass. In fact, they have field hockey.
Yeah, but I can't punch them in the face and spend 5 minutes out and then come back in.
You run by somebody and they fall down and hold their back.
And I can't literally knock them on their ass with my shoulder just because they have the ball, right? I mean, that's just not allowed, but it is in hockey. So, if you like that softer version, then sure, I guess soccer's not bad.
Now, Michael's got the question, man. Did you ever do curling?
No, they didn't have curling anywhere except for Canada. Last I checked. So
I would do curling. I would do curling. What about lacrosse? They play that up there, right?
Lacrosse. There was definitely lacrosse. Yeah, I mean, we had like a football team, but everybody made fun of the cheerleaders for not. Well, I don't actually want to be a jerk, but the bottom line is we weren't like Texas. Okay, let's put it that way. Up in Michigan, they don't care. They just don't care.
Hey, you're like 6'1" or 6'2". Did you play basketball?
6 feet exactly, and
you're taller than that.
I'm 6 feet exactly. No, basketball. My wife loves basketball. I went to Xavier University. They got a sick team. They got a really.
They do.
They've never won one, but you know.
But they're good. They're definitely good.
Better than I
am. And so here's the comment of the hour. Don't ever trust a man that doesn't drink beer and like football. That's it.
But I do like. Yeah, no. The real truth is, Michael, Michelle.
Michelle.
I'm sorry, Michael. The truth is, I screwed up. I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm kind of used to being disappointed. You know, unfortunately, I'm still upset about Carson Palmer having his knee taken out like 15 years ago.
That was bad.
We never get to the damn playoffs, right?
Oh, so dude, so you know about the icky shuffle?
Hook me up. What's this?
You said you're a Bengals fan, dude, and you don't know about the icky shuffle? Icky Woods, the best running back in the history of the Bengals organization,
became a Bengals fan in about 2006.
Oh my God!
Sorry, man. Sorry, man. You can talk about mortgages. I'm good.
Man, you got to go look up Icky. You got to look up Icky Woods.
No. All right.
Icky Woods. I mean, so you're younger, so you probably don't remember like the old school celebrations, like Billy White Shoes Johnson. You have no idea who that is, do you?
Never watched.
Okay, so he was a receiver with the Oilers back in the day, and he had this touchdown dance that I think it was called the Texas Quake or something, where he just kind of shook his knees in and out. It was pretty funny. And so
that is.
So Icky Woods in the 90s with the Bengals, he had what was the most popular touchdown celebration of the 90s. It was called the Icky Shuffle. You gotta look it up, man. As a Bengals fan, you gotta know.
I would say something like Bob Probert. He was the enforcer for the Red Wings, and
there you go.
I could speak that language all day long.
I'm going Wayne Gretzky. What?
Yeah, he's pretty sick too. Yeah, not a bad player.
Bobby Howe. I don't know.
Okay, so we were going to talk about the rates going up. We were going to talk about the elections and the coronavirus vaccine, possibly moving it, which we did, and we did. What else were we going to talk about, Chris? Does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to know about?
They don't, man. We've dropped from like 10 viewers to 4, so we've just completely bored people with sports talk.
All right, now I'm just pissing people off. That's good. All right, good.
And we're rolling up on 30 minutes, so if nobody's got any questions, we may as well just go.
All right with that. This is good. Nobody cares about anything but what the rates are, right?
What's the rates? What's the
rates? What is your rate? Yeah, man, cool. Good stuff.
Hey, trust me, it's the same when I've got a listing appointment. What's your rate? What are you going to charge me? Everybody wants to know about the money, and that's fine.
I did pull 15-year mortgages today, and they had options down to the 2.25 range. So
that's not bad. I
mean, again, market may have worsened, but it's still fantastic. So.
And just to kind of put that in perspective, back in, was it March? I forget when we were looking at refining, the 15 and I think it was the 15 and the 30 were basically identical rates. Like there was a point when you couldn't get a better rate going with a 15. It's like, what the heck? So
yeah,
that's pretty nuts.
When rates are this low, banks really don't quite know what to do. They're not making as much money per loan because there's not enough room in between where they get the money and where they. I mean, if you get to borrow at 0 and you're lending at 2.5, you're only making 2.5%.
There's a lot more money to be made elsewhere. I guarantee that. And if you need to know where to make more than 2.5%, talk to me. We'll talk investments.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not stock market and stuff, like legit investments.
Buying a house right now? Are you even kidding me? With the rates the way they are, as an investment. I mean, if I were a young 20-something, okay, I would be looking at a duplex.
Yep.
Okay. I would move into half of the duplex. So I'd move into unit A or whatever, and then rent out the unit B. And then it's considered your primary residence, not an investment. So you can do an FHA loan. move in there for 3.5% down, use up to 75% of what the unit B is paying you in income to offset your debt to income so that you can buy even more of that duplex. And then you do it again in a year.
Yep. That's house hacking 101, and it's a real thing. If you've got kids going to college, instead of paying for room and board, go buy them a duplex and rent out the other half, and then charge a roommate rent in the third room.
You know what I read the other day? Who's the guy that owns Facebook? What's his name? Little
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuckerberg. Can't stand that guy. He we're on Facebook now. That's great.
Sorry,
Mark. His father gave him the option to have a McDonald's franchise, one of them, or to go to college, and Dad would pay for it. And he chose college, obviously. Can you imagine? He looks like somebody that would be like, "Yeah, I own a McDonald's franchise," and that's it, right? I mean, like I don't know. I hate that guy. But yeah. All right, man.
That's actually, and I'm gonna hold up short there because I got a question from a mutual friend / client of ours about that very thing, and the question was, with prices going up and expensive taxes, why in the heck would somebody why would they buy a house in Dripping Springs right now?
Why wouldn't they? A better question.
And so that was, and I told her I had to think about the actual answer to it, because the first thing was obviously because it's going to cost you just as much to rent as it will to have a mortgage, so you may as well have the mortgage and get the tax deductions. But you just brought up a really good point with that low interest rate. And it's, again, people, at some point, it is not going to stay that low. It's got to go up.
No, they went up to 23.5% in 1983.
Yeah.
23.5%.
Whenever you can borrow money at, call it 3%, 3.5%, 4%, that's not a bad thing.
No,
and that's part of the reason that housing prices are going up.
Okay, but here we go. This is your answer. Taxes will go up mainly because values of the home goes up.
Correct.
Right? If values are dropping and politicians are raising taxes, they don't stay in office the next year, right?
Nope.
So when your taxes go up, the value of your home goes up. And, hey, worst case scenario, you get taxed out of the neighborhood and have to sell your home for $200,000 profit, right? And if you were renting, let's look at the alternative. Rent, they'd just be raising your rent when the taxes go up. And now you can't afford to rent there. You leave with nothing.
And not only that, but even if you can stay there and property values drop and taxes drop, do you think that the owner is going to drop what you're paying in rent?
No. When I sold my first home here in Austin, we lived in it for 6 years, and I took the amount of profit we made. Okay,
y'all bought in a hot little pocket over there.
What'd you say?
Y'all bought in a hot little pocket.
Oh yeah, we used our expertise and others and got a really good one. Yeah, it was really good. 10 minutes outside of the city. It was great, South Austin. And when we sold that sucker, we sold it for so much. I just was blown away. I took the profit, put it in my calculator, and divided it by the number of months that we had actually lived in the house to figure out how much money it gave me per month, right? And it was not only enough money to cover my mortgage payment, but it also was enough to pay me about $500 a month just for living there.
That's crazy. Now now I got to do the same thing.
Right, but I mean, you kidding me? Now you want to rent?
No. Now I got to figure out.
I'm saying like anybody.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to rent now? Is that even a joke? No, I mean, I understand. When I bought my home, I was being told that I was buying in a bubble, right? Things can't stay this way, Steve. They're going to crash. I mean, that was in 2012, 2013, something like that. And here we are today. Same thing. I bought this house. Well, it's probably a bubble. I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah. As long as Austin's number one, I don't see that, but okay.
We made an additional $100 a month in addition to covering our PITI when we sold. Oh. And we bought in 2002 and sold in
PITI meaning house payment, everybody.
Yeah, house payment, sorry. 15 sold in 15. So nice. in 13 years we covered plus $100. What is oh God, Shelly. Shelly's a buyer client of mine, guys, and there is next to zero inventory. And I'm trying to manufacture houses for a lot of people right now, and I just can't do it. I can't poof.
Yeah, you're not the only one. so little inventory. There really is.
Yeah.
I have one client that was trying to buy a $600,000 home. They were one of 17 offers
on 600,000.
Usually at that high a price, like
no, yeah,
not that many offers. The 300 range. There's a ton, but
God, I can't believe that 17 offers on 600,000.
It kind of took me back too. I called the listing agent. She's like, "Well, you're the only lender that called me, but you're one of the last ones. I don't know if your offer is going to be high enough." And I'm like, "Really? What in the world?"
Man,
unbelievable.
That's crazy. And well, I mean, hopefully we see a little bit more release of inventory next year. Especially, again, if this vaccine is something and
I have to say that,
and all of that. I mean, yeah, we could see next year, we could actually see a little bit of a flood of houses on the market because of the people that wanted to move this past year, but didn't. So it could turn a little bit, but the problem is where are they going to move? Because if we have a flood of houses on the market, but the builders are still behind, because right now builders are way behind.
They're so bad.
So
shortage of appliances too. Last I checked, have you heard about this?
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. It will definitely be interesting to see. But all right, man. Now we've officially gone longer than we're supposed to. So let's get out of here.
Excellent. Good talk.
All right, guys. We're here every Monday at 5 o'clock. Again, Steve Babcock with Benchmark Mortgage, and I'm Chris Peshek with Dripping Springs Home Team. Here, I'll even put my phone. I'm not going to put my phone number up. Find me on Facebook, Dripping Springs Home Team. I am everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. Guys, I'm everywhere. If you can't find me online, there's something wrong. Like Facebook shut me down or something. So, anyway, that's it.
Thank you,
sir. Babcock. Y'all have a great week.
See you next week.